Welcome to the Gonzo Chronicles. I'm your host, Cyrus Alderwood, the official spokesman for Generation X. Stick around. It's going to get weird, as always. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Today is February 25th. And I've got to admit, man, Rolling Stone effed it up again. I don't know how many times they have to F up these lists. So, a couple of previous episodes, I talked and had a guest on, and we talked about top 100 songs of all time. And then we talked about, I think, top movies of all time, what makes a great song, top artists of all time. Well, here we go. Rolling Stone, best sitcoms of all time. Now, do you know how I know that they've totally effed this list up? Because they have them ranked from 100 down to the top sitcom of all time. Now, I've seen all manner of sitcoms, not just on ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox, but we're talking Netflix, HBO, Showtime, any number of cable stations, right? I've seen countless sitcoms. It's my favorite thing to watch on television. If there's going to be a sitcom on, I'm going to try to give it a shot. Even some of the sitcoms that are on Netflix these days. But I look at so I click on the page to get their top 100, and it goes from 100 down to 91. And I'm scrolling down, and at 97 of greatest sitcoms of all time, one of the top running sitcoms in the 80s had 9 seasons, and every season it aired, it actually picked up viewers, which is unusual for a sitcom. So at 97, they had Night Court. Now, if you're a Gen Xer, you know Night Court very, very well. And it is not number 97 out of the top 100. How that is not in the top 20 is freaking ridiculous. So, what I want to do is I want to just briefly go over the top 20, and then I'll be damned if I'm not going to have a guest on here at some point coming up soon. And we're going to list out our top sitcoms of all time and see how close we come together with those sitcoms. So, yeah, thanks, Rolling Stone. I used to think I knew you better, but damn, you're filled with dumbasses. So anyway, let's get to the top 20, shall we? Mind you, as I scroll through this list, I didn't see very many that I even like. There were a lot of them I didn't know, I'd never heard of, and I'm going to start at number 20 that they have on their list, and this is off of Netflix. Had not even heard of this. BoJack Horseman, and it may be a great show. I have no idea, but BoJack Horseman. How great is it if I'm all over Netflix all the time and I've never heard of it? I'm sure there are people that like it. That's fine. Number 19 was Roseanne. I can kind of see being in the top 20. It was a good show. 30 Rock comes in at 18. At number 17, and this goes way back, but this was a great show. It had Danny DeVito in it. And what's that guy's name from? I don't want to say not Ted Danson, but anyway, Taxi. Taxi was a great, great sitcom. Um, 16, The Cosby Show. Now, in hindsight, we all know about Bill Cosby, right? But how in the hell is The Cosby Show ranked at 16 when that thing ran from 84 to 92 and topped the charts every year almost. Arrested Development came in at 15. Quirky sitcom, funny, right? 14, The Andy Griffith Show. I'm not sure I would have kept. I don't know. That's going way back there, and it's still wildly popular. It's still one of the most watched shows on television, even in syndication after all these years. Honestly, I would not have thought of it as a sitcom, but I suppose it is. How funnier does it get than Non Freaking Nuts? Here's a good one I liked actually. 13. I'm not sure how to put it this high, but Frasier. This was a spin-off of my favorite, Cheers. Number 12, Curb Your Enthusiasm. This actually is still on HBO. This is an amazing show. Well, actually, I don't think it's on now, but it finished its run, not too many years ago. This was a freaking amazing show. If you haven't seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, about Larry David, the guy who wrote Seinfeld. Number 11, The Dick Van Dyke Show. Again, before my time. Haven't watched it much, but I mean, still in syndication, it's still being watched, so maybe it is. Number 10, The Larry Sanders Show. That was on HBO. I used to watch that in the 90s. It was funny, but not funny enough to make it to number 10. Number 9, Parks and Recreation. Good show, but should be nowhere near the top 10. The Honeymooners. Now listen, I've actually watched this. This only ran for like 2 years, but I've watched all those episodes. They are freaking hilarious in the context of the time. Now you'd never get away with making some of this stuff today, but funny show, very funny show. Number 7, not my cup of tea, but the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I can see how that would easily slide in the top 10. This one I thought would be much higher. And recently, Hot Lips just recently died from the show MASH. Um, this was actually their finale was one of the most watched shows in all television history. And coming in at number 5, I'm surprised that these politically correct jerk offs at Rolling Stone put this in the top 10, or All in the Family. Archie Bunker. What a character. Might be one of the greatest television characters of all time. Again, you could not get away with this show today, but but you know what? It did more to highlight just relations among different people. I mean, uh, I mean, Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor was the guy who played Archie Bunker. Man, he was very reactionary to a lot of stuff. Homophobic, racist, sexist. Always getting into arguments with his wife, his daughter, and of course his meathead liberal son-in-law. Right? They call him Meathead, Rob Reiner. Great show. I mean, it really was a great show. Um, Archie's hero was President Nixon. What does that tell you? Number 4, I Love Lucy. I can see how this would definitely be in the top 10. So I have to give him kudos for some of these, but most of this list was just total garbage. Number 3 was Seinfeld, and that ran from 89 to, I want to say, 98. And a lot of these, the younger generation, the millennials, they just don't get the show. They don't think it's funny at all. I can watch this thing today and still chuckle. I mean, it wasn't like belly laughing, but it was good. Um, Number 2, Cheers. Yeah, my favorite. Uh, I would definitely have it in the top 10. And the only one, actually, I didn't even think about it at the time being a sitcom, but coming in at number 1 is a show that's been running since 19 freaking 89, The Simpsons. And do you know how The Simpsons got its start? It was actually on. I'm trying to think of the lady's name. Had her own show. She's a British singer. Um, anyway, I'll think of her name. She's real popular back in the '80s. But anyway, she had the show, and one of the segments in the show was The Simpsons, and everybody loved that segment so much they spun it off into a cartoon. And look at what we have now. So this has been on since 1989. I didn't even have Fox, the channel Fox here where I lived at in '89. I didn't get it till a few years later on. So actually, I missed like the first 5 seasons before our cable system in my little town added Fox, which was weird because there were people who lived on, they had like the dish or satellites, and they were getting it, and they were just lived 10 minutes away from me, but I didn't get it. Not on cable. That's your top 10, folks. So tell me, what sitcoms would you have put in there? I mean, some of these, like some of my audience may have never watched MASH. Um, Now I'll do my own personal top 20, and we'll see where this goes. We'll have a guest on, and we'll talk about what the top sitcoms of all time are, and we'll have fun with this. Anyway, yeah, let me know what your favorites are. Hit me up on social media or Cyrus.Alderwood at gmail.com as I go into a coughing fit. Anyway, it's Friday. I'm going to go pick up some beverages. I'm going to watch Caddyshack. You know what? I have nothing better to do. Anyway, talk to you savages soon. Cheers.